Hello my friends, welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. BYD have set a new sales record for the month of May, and that means that actually their sales went up by 38%. 38% rise in sales for BYD. So BYD are absolutely killing it. Interesting though to see which cars are performing well for BYD. And obviously BYD are selling their plug-in hybrids at cheaper prices than their electric cars, and as a result, more people have been buying BYD's plug-in hybrids. Now, traditionally, BYD's sales, they're around 55% EV, 45% plug-in hybrid, but that's changed now. Now, it's around 60% plug-in hybrid and around 40% electric EV sales only. So, interesting sales here. EV sales haven't risen as much. That means EV sales have grown by 22% versus the same month last year. So, May of last year, BYD's EV sales, they grew 22% this May versus last May. So still good numbers, but yeah, some vehicles are doing really well for BYD. As you can see, the plug-in hybrids are doing really well. Other vehicles like the Dolphin and the Seal, they've been a surprising, really failure within China. People aren't really buying the Dolphin and they aren't really buying the Seal anymore. They used to be buying the Dolphin, and I thought the BYD Dolphin would be potentially the best-selling car in the world next year, but it appears as though people are starting to lose interest in the Dolphin. There's maybe potentially better alternatives for a similar price. At least that's what the market is saying. So what this means is plug-in hybrid sales for BYD have grown by 54%, setting a new sales record. Year-to-date sales though, so far this year, BYD have sold just under 1.3 million cars. First 5 months of the year, just under 1.3 million. That's an increase of 27% versus the first 5 months of last year. And BYD said that they believe they'll sell around 3.5 million cars this year. Is that possible? Are they on track to do that? Well, statistically, no. But if you actually look at the statistics of the Chinese car market, then BYD normally sell twice as many cars in the last 3 months of the year versus the first 3 months. There is actually a very good chance BYD will sell 3.5 million cars this year, meaning they'll be one of the biggest car manufacturers in the world. Probably next year they'll overtake General Motors, Ford, Honda. Very likely they'll become probably the third or fourth biggest car manufacturer in the world next year. That's what they're on track for. So BYD's stock price, in my opinion, it's not factoring this in. It's not factoring in the trajectory of the company. It's not factoring in the fact that they're the second biggest battery company in the world. Chairman Wang Shanfu personally handed over the inaugural Qin L model units last Thursday, following that vehicle's debut on the Beijing Auto Show in late April. Now that vehicle only costs around 100,000 to 140,000 RMB. Very, very cheap car. There's two versions. There's an 80 kilometer battery range and three variants with a 120 kilometer battery range. But that boasts a battery capacity of only 10 kilowatt hours and 15.9 kilowatt hours respectively. So a fairly small battery. But apparently there are videos circulating, guys, of that vehicle doing more than 2,000 kilometers with that size battery. And it's existing, I believe it's an 80 liter petrol tank, a gas tank. So doing 1,250 miles, that's staggering. How this vehicle did that on this fuel consumption, no one seems to know. 2.9 liters per 100 kilometers, or 2.9 liters per 60 miles in terms of efficiency, which is staggering. Normally a plug-in hybrid, the efficiency is not that great because once you've actually exhausted the battery, you're just dragging along that heavy car using the internal combustion vehicle motor. I don't know, BYD have done something amazing here because the efficiency here of BYD's hybrids is much, much better than Toyota's hybrids. If you were to buy a Toyota hybrid, you'd be pretty shocked by the efficiency. They're not, to be honest, they're not good, but they're nowhere near as good as BYD's hybrid technology. And so what we're seeing here is the technology in something that Toyota claims that they're experts at, that Japan says that they're doing the best. It's actually turned out that they're well behind, miles behind. And apparently, new Toyota hybrids will now be using BYD's platform. Basically, they'll be BYD's rebadged as Toyotas. So in a sense, in the future, it's possible that if you buy a Toyota hybrid, you might just be buying a BYD. So what's the point of buying a Toyota? You might as well just buy a BYD. That's what a lot of people are thinking now. A lot of people are thinking, well, I'll just wait for a BYD plug-in hybrid, or I'll buy a BYD EV. What's the point in buying a Toyota that's going to basically add a Toyota premium on top of the price that BYD are charging them to manufacture it for them? There's a lot of sentiment in the market now that people are saying, you know what, even hybrids, BYD are doing better than legacy auto. Now, personally, you guys know I'm not a big fan of hybrids, but I know a lot of people do want that type of car. The tech launched in these two sedans immediately that cost under $19,000 is pretty damn impressive. Under 19, so we're looking at $18,500 for a sedan the size of a Toyota Camry with a range of more than 1,250 miles. That is insane. There are extended range hybrids as well, and apparently sales of these vehicles has grown by 64%. 64%. That's amazing. And that compares with the growth of BYD's EVs of 12%. Now, the media believes, some sections of the media believe that the part of the reason that EVs, their sales have slowed down this year is due to a massive disinformation campaign targeting buyers, basically trying to mislead buyers into thinking that EVs aren't popular, that there's all these problems with them, and that is affecting sales. There's a lot of people believing that fossil fuels are behind this. China is set to actually invest around $820 million to promote research and development in solid-state batteries. And intriguingly, BYD and CATL, the two biggest battery manufacturers in the world, are joining forces to actually develop new technology solid-state batteries. Now, getting to BYD's actual delivery sales, which cars are the most popular? The Song is by far BYD's most popular car by a mile now. 82,000 BYD Songs were sold in May. 82,000 of that single model. BYD Chin, that's also a plug-in hybrid, but there is an EV version as well. Their sales have hit a staggering 57%. Sales of that model are up 30% year over year. The BYD Yen, which is the Atto 3, another good month for the Atto 3, with 40,231 of those sold. Most Atto 3s are sold outside of China. So good numbers for the Atto 3. Of course, it's a small, medium crossover electric SUV. That's a very popular segment. The Seagull. Sales of the Seagull were flat versus last month. Surprisingly not that great, but they're not yet being sold in Europe. BYD does plan on selling the Seagull in Europe for less than $20,000. And the Seagull deliveries in China were 35,000 in the month of May. One really strange situation here, guys, is the BYD Chaser 05. Not a very well-known car outside of China. And even in China last year, it didn't really sell that well. It was averaging sales close between 5 to 10,000. Really kind of a disappointing sales numbers for that car. Now, for some shocking reason, the Chaser has gone from selling in January this year, I believe it was around 4,000, and now it's averaging over the last 3 months, in fact, about 33,000 deliveries per month. So its sales have grown in the space of a couple of months by 215% for 3 months in a row. The Chaser 05, yeah. Anyway, not sure what's happened there. One model that's been sluggish, there is a new version of the BYD Han. It's improved, the price is cheaper, but still not selling that well. It's in that mid-sized electric sedan category. Han sales are sort of a bit better than, in fact, a lot better than the BYD Seal. For some reason, people in China much prefer the Han versus the Seal, but sales are still not that great. Around 22,000 vehicle sales for the BYD Han. BYD Tang, there's a new version of the Tang as well. It's also cheaper, plus there's a plug-in hybrid and an EV version. That is a 5 or 7 seat, biggish kind of electric or plug-in hybrid SUV. Around 15,000 of those were sold. Very good value car, I think, for the money. The BYD Seal, it's not really selling at all in China. These deliveries, almost all of these are outside of China. It's never been a sales success in China for whatever reason. No one really knows why. But outside of China, the BYD Seal is selling extremely well in places like Thailand and Australia. So Seal deliveries were just under 15,000 for the month. Dolphin, big crash in Dolphin sales. This is BYD's... This car, the Dolphin, is sold in, I believe, more markets than any other BYD vehicle worldwide. It's sold in over 30 different countries, but for some reason, Dolphin has not sold well anywhere overseas. There has been 10,000 Dolphin deliveries in the month of May, which is a lot less than there was last year. As you can see from this chart from CNF Post, Dolphin was selling over 35,000 a month for the last 3 months of last year. But even before that, for the last 6 months of last year, it was averaging well over 30,000 sales. Well, those have collapsed now to only about 10,000 per month for 2 straight months in a row. Not sure what's going on with the Dolphin. I think it's a great car. I think it's great value, but people don't really want small hatchbacks, maybe, possibly. BYD E2, you can see here around 900 sales. Now, getting guys to the interesting cars here, the 3 brands that BYD have that are not called BYD. They have the Denza brand, that's a joint venture technically, but BYD own 95% of that company. Mercedes-Benz own the other 5%. 12,000 deliveries for the Denza brand in total. Fangcheng Bao, that's BYD's premium electric car brand and plug-in hybrids as well. They delivered surprisingly low numbers here, guys, around 2,400. Yang Wang, that's their super premium brand. They sell BYD's new luxury supercar, which is around between 200 to 250,000 US dollars, depending on which model. They delivered 600 vehicles, which was down a fair bit versus, say, December and January, where they sold more than 1,600. So those sales figures, Yang Wang, are definitely going down. It's a very premium sector. Their car sales are more than average sales price is well over $100,000. So you can see why they're going to be, it's not going to be a high volume brand for BYD. BYD's Yang Wang brand is more just targeted at that expensive luxury market sector. Guys, BYD's overall sales this year, I mean, they had one really bad month, but since then, they've been doing amazing things. Selling this many cars, nearly 340,000 vehicles in the month of May, makes them already a top 6 global automaker. And if you are not BYD and you're in the automotive industry, you've got to be really maybe peeing yourself. I mean, seriously, you've got to be panicking, because honestly, these guys have amazing technology. They have the ability to make cars at a lower price than everyone else. And really, they are probably going to be the biggest car brand in the world by 2030. I predicted that, I think, a couple of years ago. I'd say they're pretty well on track for that to happen.